Welcome everyone to today's workbook discussion on Zoom. Welcome also to all who join us later by watching or listening to this recording. I'm Laura Fenimore, the Chief Development Officer and Volunteer Coordinator with the Foundation for Inner Peace, the scribe authorized publisher of A Course in Miracles. We really appreciate your partnership with the Foundation. And if you want to learn more about the Foundation or A Course in Miracles, please visit ACIM.org. If you feel inspired to make a love offering, please visit ACIM.org, and at the top of the page, you will find the word donate. All donations support the work of the Foundation. Each session will be delving into a discussion of the workbook lessons in A Course in Miracles led by a moderator team of volunteers that work with the Foundation. What does discussion mean? In our gatherings here, we welcome the Holy Spirit to join us. Through this presence, our meeting becomes a joining of equals to commune with the Holy Spirit's guidance to experience miracles together. Some of the moderators here also support our social media channels, and if you'd like a list of FIP resources, please email support@acim.org, and we'll be happy to share the resource list with you. Now let's begin our discussion.
So I'll just go over the guidelines here for our meeting. It's to share in kindness, to stay course-centered, be respectful, and invite the Holy Spirit to guide whatever comments that are coming up for us so they can serve all of us. And in this session, it will be recorded. The Foundation will take the recording and post it on Facebook, YouTube, and other social media. If you prefer not to be shown, keep your camera off and you can stay muted. Otherwise, we do appreciate and welcome you to join in and jump in with the discussion. So on that note, before we get going, I'll just introduce myself. My name is Bernie Fitterer, and I am one of the facilitators for this group. And what I'll do is I'll read the introduction to the text as an opening prayer to bring us into this space. This is A Course in Miracles. It is a required course. Only the time you take it is voluntary. Free will does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. It means only that you can elect what you want to take at a given time. The course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. The opposite of love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposites. This course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. So thank you all for being here and joining in. We are going to be going through lesson 132. This is our third week. The part of the lesson was introduced 2 weeks ago, and then we got into a bit of a discussion. So my thought today is, it is a lengthy lesson. It's 3 pages, it's 17 paragraphs. But my thought is that as a lesson, it does have an encompassing feel if we can go through the whole thing. So whatever comments come up and what I've come to learn through all the lessons, through the sections, through the way the course is laid out, is it brings up the things that we are our beliefs, the things that we can be attached to in the world. And then from there, it also gives us the answer, the correction. And so if we can go through this whole lesson, if there are situations or ideas or things that come up that are in need of correction or could be used to be corrected, and then bring in the correction, let's see how we can tie in what is unreal to the reality of what we are, and that is spirit. So on that note, we've got four readers. They will rotate reading each of the paragraphs. So we'll start off with Peter, and then Corinne, and oh my, I have Sharon, and then it will be Andrew. So the four will rotate, each taking a paragraph. And once we're done, we'll get into our discussion. So Peter, can you start?
Actually, I think it was Philip who volunteered.
Oh, sorry, Peter. You're right. It is Philip.
Are you going to read the first paragraph,
I
Bernie?
will read the first paragraph,
Thank
and
you.
then you can follow. So, lesson 132, I loose the world from all I thought it was. What keeps the world in chains but your beliefs? And what can save the world except yourself? Belief is powerful indeed. The thoughts you hold are mighty, and illusions are strong in their effects, as is the truth. A madman thinks the world he sees is real and does not doubt it, nor can he be swayed by questioning his thoughts' effects. It is but when their source is raised to the question that the hope of freedom comes to him at last.
Yet is salvation easily achieved? For anyone is free to change his mind, and all his thoughts change with it. Now the source of thought has shifted. For to change your mind means you have changed the source of all ideas you think, or ever thought, or yet will think. You free the past from what you thought before. You free the future from all ancient thoughts of seeking what you do not want to find.
The present now remains the only time. Here in the present is the world set free. For as you let the past be lifted and release the future from your ancient fears, you find escape and give it to the world. You have enslaved the world with all your fears, your doubts and miseries, your pain and tears, and all your sorrows press on it, and keep the world a prisoner to your beliefs. Death strikes it everywhere because you hold the bitter thoughts of death within your mind.
The world is nothing in itself. Your mind must give it meaning. And what you behold upon it are your wishes acted out so you can look on them and think them real. Perhaps you think you did not make the world, but came unwillingly to what was made already, hardly waiting for your thoughts to give it meaning. Yet in truth, you found exactly what you looked for when you came.
There is no world apart from what you wish, and herein lies your ultimate release. Change but your mind on what you want to see, and all the world must change accordingly. Ideas leave not their source. This central theme is often stated in the text and must be borne in mind if you would understand the lesson for today. It is not pride which tells you that you made the world you see, and that it changes as you change your mind.
But it is pride that argues you have come into a world quite separate from yourself, impervious to what you think, and quite apart from what you chance to think it is. There is no world. This is the central thought the Course attempts to teach. Not everyone is ready to accept it, and each one must go as far as he can, let himself be led along the road to truth. He will return and go still farther, or perhaps step back a while and then return again.
But healing is the gift of those who are prepared to there is no world and can accept the lesson now. Their readiness will bring the lesson to them in some form which they can understand and recognize. Some see it suddenly on point of death and rise to teach it. Others find that is not of this world, which shows them that the world does not exist, because what they behold must be the truth. And yet it clearly contradicts the world.
And some will find it in this course and in the exercises that we do today. Today's idea is true because the world does not exist. And if it is indeed your own imagining, then you can loose it from all things you ever thought it was by merely changing all the thoughts that gave it these appearances. The sick are healed as you let go all thoughts of sickness, and the dead arise when you let thoughts of life replace all thoughts you ever held of death.
A lesson earlier repeated once must now be stressed again, for it contains the firm foundation for today's idea. You are as God created you. There is no place where you can suffer, and no time that can bring change to your eternal state. How can a world of time and place exist if you remain as God created you?
What is the lesson for today, except another way of saying that to know yourself is the salvation of the world? To free the world from every kind of pain is but to change your mind about yourself. There is no world apart from your ideas, because ideas leave not their source, and you maintain the world within your mind and thought.
Yet if you are as God created, you cannot think apart from him, nor make what does not share his timelessness and love. Are these inherent in the world you see? Does it create like him? Unless it does, it is not real and cannot be at all. If you are real, the world you see is false. For God's creation is unlike the world in every way. And as it was his thought by which you were created, so it is your thoughts which made it and must set it free, that you may know the thoughts you share with God.
Release the world. Your real creations wait for this release to give you fatherhood, not of illusions, but as God in truth. God shares his fatherhood with you who are his son, for he makes no distinctions in what is himself and what is still himself. What he creates is not apart from him, and nowhere does the Father end, the Son begin as something separate from him.
There is no world because it is a thought apart from God and made to separate the Father and the Son and break away a part of God himself and thus destroy his wholeness. Can a world which comes from this idea be real? Can it be anywhere? Deny illusions, but accept the truth. Deny you are a shadow briefly laid upon a dying world. Release your mind, and you will look upon a world released.
Today, our purpose is to free the world from all the idle thoughts we ever held about it, and about all living things we see upon it. They cannot be there, no more can we, for we are in the home our Father set for us along with them. And we who are as he created us would loose the world this day from every one of our illusions, that we may be free.
Begin the 15-minute periods in which we practice twice today with this. I who remain as God created me would loose the world from all I thought it was. For I am real because the world is not, and I would know my own reality. Then merely rest, alert but with no strain, and let your mind in quietness be changed, so that the world is freed along with you.
You need not realize that healing comes to many brothers far across the world, as well as to the ones you see nearby as you send out these thoughts to bless the world. But you will sense your own release, although you may not fully understand as yet that you could never be released alone.
Throughout the day, Increase the freedom sent through your ideas to all the world, and say, whenever you are tempted to deny the power of your simple change of mind, I loose the world from all I thought it was, and choose my own reality instead.
Thank you. There's a lot in this section, and there's also some fairly simple messages. So what I'll ask each of you who read, I'll start off with Philip. If anything has come to you from what you've read, we'll start with you to engage the discussion.
Well, just that, we live a long time and we think the world's real, and we identify with our body and other people's bodies walking around and make up stories about it all, and it all seems very real. And then sometime you say, I give up, and Holy Spirit starts teaching you that they're just all made up of thoughts that spring from the original thought of being separate from God. And as we get quieter and able to hear his voice more and more, the world loses its hold on us through our practice of forgiveness and miracles. And that peace comes in, and the silence gets deeper, and the love and the joy becomes more real, and no need to do so many things to try to defend my body, and just want to come and heal and love my brothers and sisters who are one with me. That's all.
Thank you. Yes, it is. It's a change and it's a shift. So thank you, Philip. I appreciate that. When we're willing to let that shift happen to us, we can embrace it. Corrine.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I started a few places, and the first double stars was the world is nothing in itself. Your mind must give it meaning, and what you behold upon it are your wishes. So, which coincides with ideas leave not their source. So it always teaches me that if I'm seeing in one of the paragraphs that I read about death and destruction and sickness and pain, that it's my mind that's creating it, and that I can see it another way. Each lesson always reminds me that I'm light, I'm eternal light, and that it's even this lesson says that God has created us like Himself, and that has never changed. So that always comforts me. It just gives me so much love to think that and to feel that, because when I think it, I feel it and I know it. So that's what really, and the other part is that I could always ask for my thoughts to be changed, because only my thoughts give me pain. So if I change my thoughts by asking the Holy Spirit, I always get my answer. I always get my answer. And that's that's a crutch that I will never give up, if you want to call it a crutch, because he's my teacher, he's my leader, and he's in me that I could ask that question and so easily and so quickly and get an answer also. And with that, it's like those thoughts that I'm thinking that are negative, quote unquote, towards the world. I think that's what it means when it says, I loose the world from all I thought it was. So those past I held that were negative, that were, not loving. So that word loose, I think, is really important in this lesson. Thanks.
Thank you, Corrine. And yes, the paragraph 12, release the world. We loose the world from what we believe it is, and we get caught up in the external. And that's when we go into pain and all of the craziness of the world is an illusion. And the recognizing, as you pointed out, the recognizing of the God within, the love within. It's as the introduction states, it's inherent in us. It's what we are. And it's a matter of shifting our view from outside to coming in. So thanks, Corrine. Sharon, you're muted.
Thanks. I especially like paragraph 3, where he says, the present now remains the only time. That is especially meaningful to me in my life, that now is the only time there is. And it's the only time that I can forgive things in the past. And the Course tells me that when I do that, when I forgive things in the past, it releases my future. And then the present is the only time we can do that. And it really is the only time there is. So that gives me great peace. Thank you.
Thank you. And I acknowledge and appreciate picking up on the points of being in the present and being able to, it's the only time that forgiveness works. It's the only time that we can really get that and be in it. So thank you. Andrew.
Thank you. What stands out to me most in this lesson is paragraph 16. You need not realize that healing comes to many brothers far across the world, as well as the ones you see nearby, and you send out these thoughts to bless the world. But you will sense your own release. Although you may not fully understand as yet, you can never be released alone. So I think that's, we don't realize all the effects of our releasing the world, but we're told that other people are released too, our brothers around the world. That's what I found noteworthy.
Yeah. Thank you, Andrew. And that's a big realization when we're willing to open up to that. And just to pick on paragraph 12 again, God shares his fatherhood with you who are his son, which is each and every one of us. It's not anyone individually. And there's nowhere that we could be separate. So we're always connected as long as we hold a focus on staying connected. And when we don't, we're still connected. We just don't necessarily realize it in any given moment where we're considering ourselves to be separate. So thank you. Peter, it's always great to hear from you, and thank you for your patience with my error in calling your name.
Somehow people confuse Philip and I a lot. So I'll take that as a compliment. Philip's a good guy. What jumps out at me is the very first paragraph. The thoughts you hold are mighty, and illusions are as strong in their effects as is the truth. Now, somewhere else in the Course, he also alludes to the fact that that we're actually afraid of our minds, right? Because our mind is so powerful, it can create this world. Now, the only way this whole thing works is if we forget that we chose this illusion. See, it's kind of without that. And so what we're trying to do, the Course talks about awakening or remembering, but we're not really learning anything. It's like, it's more a process of remembering and uncovering and reconnecting with the truth, which is underneath the surface. So there's a line in the Course talks about the tiny mad idea. It says, the tiny mad idea at which the Son of God remembered not to laugh. Doesn't say forgot to laugh. Right? The next line says, and in his forgetting, but I always insert the word in his purposeful or intentional forgetting. And because I believe that we were very conscious at some level when we chose to have this experience. And so it doesn't make us bad, doesn't make us wrong, doesn't make us evil. But it does, for me at least, that especially that line that I read, reminds me that this is really all my doing. The Course says the secret of salvation is that we're doing this, that I'm doing this to myself. So, and that goes with chapter 21, responsibility for sight. I'm responsible for what I see. So it's really embracing that without making myself wrong for that, without punishing myself, without shaming myself, without judging myself. Because if you think about it, who in their right mind would create a world like this? And yet I've done that. And the only thing it means is that I'm not in my right mind. Thanks.
Thank you, Peter. You captured a lot just out of that one paragraph. We are created as a thought of God, and we have all that power. Where do we direct it? Are we directing it to all of the things we want to believe that's going on that we're trying to make real in this world? And then whatever it is, whatever it is that we're holding on to is reflected back to us. So if we believe that there's craziness and insanity and pain and suffering going on around us, we will take that on and hold on to that as well. So a lot to capture there, and thank you, Peter, for that. Uma, you have your hand up.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, Peter, thank you. That was just so well put. And this lesson is so great. And thank you all for reading it. It's really moved me. And what I want to do now is recite a little poem by Long Chen Pa. He says, seeing as everything is but an apparition, having nothing to do with good or bad or acceptance or rejection, one might well burst out in laughter.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you, Uma. And it's the laughter that brings us all together. So thank you for that. Sora.
So the most important, I don't know if that's the right word, but the things that strike me the most in this lesson, and then that's the ideas are repeated. Paragraph 4, perhaps you think you did not make the world, but came unwillingly to what was made already, hardly waiting for your thoughts to give it meaning. Yet in truth, you found exactly what you looked for when you came. That was one reference. Then in paragraph 6, there is no world. It was exclamation point. He doesn't use a lot of exclamation points, but there is no world, exclamation point. And then the last one, paragraph 13, there is no world because it is a thought apart from God and made to separate the Father and the Son and break away a part of God himself and thus destroy his wholeness. Those three references to me just are emblematic, of the whole Course thought system. We came here to search for not, to be separate. And yet when we find our reality here. That was in an earlier lesson. We find our reality here. We step back and let that lead the way. So in other words, we came here to heal. And where's here? Here is just a product of our minds. Of just talking about that. And Peter was talking about that. Our perception of the world is based on connections we've made in our brains, and they're not real. That's why, like Sharon said, you have to come back to the now, because otherwise all we're doing is reiterating, everything we've seen in the past, and we're not really seeing anything as it is now. And if we're not seeing anything as it is now, how can there be any kind of solid world? That's three. when I used to do courses, lessons, that would come up a lot. What do you mean there is no world? Well, how do you want to look at that? But those to me are some of the most important teachings in the whole course. There's no world. You came here looking to be something other than yourself. And why isn't there a new world? Because it's the 3D reality, because it's a thought apart from God.
Mhm. Yes, very well put, Sora. Thank you. And it is when we are believing we're separate, we're looking for connection outside of ourselves. And it's when we open our minds to being with ourself. I think that was the reference in paragraph 1, sentence 2, what can save the world except yourself, or capital S self. That when we're willing to um, free ourselves from our attachment to all that's going on around, that's the only time that we'll find that self that is within. So thank you for sharing that. Sharon, and you're muted.
I forgot to lower my hand. I guess I'm not sure how that happened, but I didn't have anything. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Philip.
Yeah, just real quick. So once we begin to loose the world that shows up in our mind, the Holy Spirit gives us is the real world. It's such a beautiful place that that's why we laugh. Because the world we made was such a disappointment, and we're finally ready to let it go. But now the world that we're experiencing as we're walking around the real world, it's just a wonderful experience. And it's like, yeah, man, I didn't give up anything. I'm home. Wonderful. It's just joy. Okay.
Thank you, Philip. And yeah, it is when we free ourselves from that. And the thing is, we all get the opportunity at some point, as it says in paragraph 7, sentence 3, some see it suddenly at point of death and rise to teach it. So, we have the opportunity to be the student and the teacher at the same time, in the same instant, and that is when we do connect with ourself, and that's what we're here to do, is to bring that that joy that's expressed. And Philip, as you speak of that, we bring that experience into the world of the illusions and of the craziness that's going on around us, and that's what we're here to teach. So the sooner we do it, the quicker we recognize the blessings that exist around us. So thank you. Uma.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I just wanted to point out one of my favorite things I'm realizing from the course is all disease comes from external seeking. And you just said a sentence earlier that reminded me of that believing in the world is external seeking.
Mm-hmm.
And someone else mentioned about, what you or Peter or Philip or all of us, that the real world is inside.
Mm-hmm.
No external seeking. I seek myself.
Yes, absolutely, Uma. And that later on in the part 2, I think it's section 8 of part 2, is what is the real world? And that is that connection, that realization that we are all connected and as one. So thank you for that. Peter.
Yeah, Bernie, I just wanted to finish that thought that you started in paragraph 7. Some see it suddenly on point of death and rise to teach it. Others find it in experience that is not of this world, which shows them that the world does not exist, because what they behold must be the truth, and yet it clearly contradicts the world. So again, some of you guys know I've been working on this documentary film, and I have talked to dozens of near-death experiencers, and they describe that crossing over experience as realer than anything they've ever experienced on this side. And as a lot of them characterize it as home. I'm home. And when they come back from that experience, they're completely changed. They're transformed. You know, that for me is the hallmark of the near-death experience. They come back as different people. And so, not directly A Course in Miracles teaching, but for me, that's proof or evidence, at least, of what this paragraph is saying. You know, and to meet these people and talk to them about it and see their reaction and how they can go back there too. It's not like a memory that fades. A lot of them talk about it as if it was yesterday, and it might have been 30 years ago that they had that experience. So for me, at least, you know, that's pointing me in the direction of what this paragraph is saying. Thanks.
Thank you, Peter. And yes, we often refer to death as the ending, you know, like that. And you know, from what I get from what you've described is that it's the opening up or the beginning connection, you know, reconnecting to our home. And it refers to that in paragraph 14, sentence 4. We are in the home of our Father. In other parts of the Course, it says that our home is the mind of God. That's, you know, that's where heaven is. That's where we truly exist from. And in that existence from being at home in the mind of God, then we can bring that awareness again into this present experience of form with our bodies. Does anyone have anything else to jump in on here? Anything coming up? Any questions that are showing up in this lesson? Go ahead, Johanna.
I think it's paragraph 11. It mentions your creations, and I thought that's such an interesting topic. Let me see where it is.
Maybe sentence 6.
I need to get anyway. I just thought I would welcome anybody who would have an idea about that. I think release the world. You're a real creator. Release the world. It's 12 here. This is what I was talking about. Wait for this release to give you fatherhood. And I've looked in the Course various places, and nowhere does it give a straight definition of your creation is, you know, okay, now I know what it is. It doesn't do that. So you'll just have to glean it from the text of the workbook somehow. And I was wondering if anyone has given that some extra thought. Thank you.
So I will just jump in on that. Thank you for asking and raising the awareness. But my understanding is that we are a creation of God. We are here to extend or create love. So we are love. We extend love to others. And in recognizing the love in them, that is creation. That is extending and creating as God created us as love, we create others in that same reference or image of love. And I look forward to anybody else who's got anything to add or expand on that. Sora.
When I was a little girl, I used to think the world was nuts. Like if there was a loving God, if there was a God, you know, like how could there be war and famine? And you know, like, and my parents' friends, some of them had been in concentration camps, and it's like the world is a horrible place. So I stopped believing in God, and the only thing that ever made sense as I grew up was the Course and the teaching that God didn't create this world. And that so that every time I see that in the book, and it's referenced a few other places, it's like the profundity of the Course thought system just, you know, it hits me. gently. But it kind of opens up my heart each time I read that, because it's the only, like I said, it's the only thing that makes sense. It explains, why there's no love in the world. That I have to, there's a line, something like, the only thing missing from the world is the love you're not giving it.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm here for, to give the love that it ain't out there. It's in here. And that's what, you were all saying some of that. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you. Thank you, Sora. I think there's a distinction in the Course that says that God creates in the formless in spirit, and we make up whatever the world is, and the differentiation between creating and making
Mm-hmm.
is the key factor. The world we make from a place of fear or need, or what we believe isn't satisfying us. So we make stuff up to fill that in.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
Thank you. Corrine.
Hi. Yeah, I wanted to just add to the ideas of creating. One of the lessons that I just finished was that it says my purpose here is to heal, to comfort, and to bless. So that combines with this sentence in this lesson, where it says uh, about sharing his timelessness and love, and to help my brothers know that, like recently someone was telling me that someone had died. There was a lot, several people, and I remind them that, well, their light is still here. Their body may be gone, and you will miss them, but that their light is eternal. So those words, his timelessness and love, help me to remember what my purpose here is here. I wanted to ask Peter, though, when he mentioned that people came back changed, in what way does he understand that they have changed? Maybe he can answer that.
Yeah, great question. Go ahead, Peter.
So there seems to be most of the people, when they come back and I say they're changed, they have a much different outlook on their lives and the purpose of life. A lot of them go into, like, people have left careers in the financial sector and go work in hospice. They become very service oriented, wanting to help, wanting to, be an expression of God's love in this realm. I mean, it's very consistent with the Course, but again, it's not necessarily with what the Course is saying or the way the Course is saying it. But a lot of them describe, when I came back, I was a changed person, and now I do this, and this. Whereas before, it was all about me getting ahead in the world and, doing whatever I wanted to do for me. I think when the Course talks about, what's a teacher of God in the teacher's manual, the only requirement to be a teacher of God is that at some point we have seen somebody else's interests as the same as ours, right? Shared interests. And a lot of them describe that now. They don't look anymore in terms of what they can get out of life. It's more what they can put into life. Very inspiring, And a lot of these people have all kinds of, people are trolling them on social media, and they're debunked. People are attacking their stories. And 20 years later, a lot of them are still out there sharing their story. And as far as I could tell, most of them, none of them are getting rich off of this. Even the books that they've written, if they do well, maybe they make some money, but they're doing it because they want to help. How can I be truly helpful in the world? And what's better than helping people remember who and what they really are by sharing their own experience on the other side? And again, for many years, a lot of them were told they were crazy. A couple of people I interviewed for my film, their family has not talked to them in 20 years because they tell a story that's different than what their childhood religion told.
It is. Go ahead, Corrine.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you explaining that. Thank you.
And if I may just add a comment around that, if we look at eternity, our true existence of eternity in the present moment where everything happens now, birth and death are just events in that sequence. And we come to the realization that both are loving expressions. We gravitate towards birth as a loving expression. Yet at the same time, when somebody dies or when there's an ending, the memory that we hold of them, what we hold in their mind, typically is what's loving. It's the creation that's maintaining that creation of love. We kind of forego all of their behaviors that might have been questionable or we may not have appreciated. Yet, we're recognizing the love and holding on to the love, and that's continuous. That's a perpetuation of creation. Uma, go ahead.
I'm having such a great time. The only thing in the world, that the world is missing is the love you are not giving it. Like, is that a Course quote? That's great. I can Google it later, find out where it says that. And then, oh, my friend just died. The lady who I've known her for 25 years. This is a great line. Their body is gone, but their light is still here. That's a great line to say to people, go, oh, I miss Genevieve or whatever. And the reason I actually raised my hand is because I believe today is Epiphany. And I'm having such a great epiphany on this particular Zoom meeting. Thank you.
That's a great word to bring up. With it being January 6th, this is the 12th day of Christmastide, which is the bringing us to the day of Epiphany. So today is the day of Epiphany. And so the timing is just excellent and perfect, Uma. Thank you. Peter, did you have anything else to add?
I feel like I'm talking a lot today. I just wanted to chime in real quickly on Johanna's comment about real creations. So this comes up from time to time. We may have even talked about it in the past, but my recollection is a couple of things. Number one is I think Ken Wapnick actually talks about this in one of his programs. And what he basically says is that the Course never really defines what our creations are, right? But we can kind of extrapolate. And I was going to say what you said, Bernie, there's a distinction between creating and making. And if you think about it this way, it's very difficult for us with our human egoic minds to wrap our head around the idea of creation by extending love. But that's basically what God is doing. God is extending itself through this joining with this energy of love. And if you think about it, what we can do in this world, even though we see ourselves as individuated egos, when I extend love to a person, I mean, really genuine, unconditional love to that person, now I've just created more love in the world. And now they can take that love and extend it to somebody else. I mean, that's the ripple effect that you hear a lot of, New Age people talk about. And so we can actually create in the illusion, as long as we're aware that for me at least, it really is this idea of unconditional love. And I think a lot of us, even I wrestle with what does that really mean? But I think that's the way we can do it in this world. But I think that's the distinction there between what you said, Bernie, between making and creating.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. And that there's reference in the Course around a diamond, and when a diamond shines, it reflects light, but it's also bringing the light out. So the light within us is what's shining out, and we're merely a facet of that diamond, each of us. And every time we extend love, we are creating more facets from which that light can shine through through the hearts and minds of others. So thank you, Peter. Johanna? Are you still with us, Johanna? Oh, maybe I froze
I'm
up.
here.
Okay, sorry, maybe I froze up on this end.
No, I think I did. Anyway, I got back in. I don't have my. All right, yeah. I wanted to share what I had. Peter said the course doesn't actually define what our creations are, and that was my discovery as well. But I did find a place that I thought I'd mention here, because when anyone is wondering what that could be. Oh, no, I can. Anyway, I can't find it because I was booted out and I'm back in. It is in the last paragraph of section, chapter 5, section 4. Why don't I know that exactly? I got thrown off. Yes, last paragraph is section 4 of chapter 5. It has a lovely description of our loving thoughts that are eternal and that the Holy Spirit keeps for us and purifies and only keeps the good. So if anyone wants to read up on that, it's in that section 4, chapter 5. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Johanna. Does anyone else have any other comments or something to share? So with that in mind, I'm just going to do a real quick recap of how this lesson is laid out. And it's really the way most of the lessons, the way the whole course is laid out, is it helps us to connect with the things that don't serve us, the illusions. And we can then bring those to the present moment where forgiveness happens. We can call it death, because when the death occurs, we end and we cease to hold on to those things that don't serve us anymore. And that's where what does serve, that loving presence, that loving essence within us that's inherent in us, can come out and come and shine through. And from there, we connect and share with the world just by being. And in our being peaceful, being present, we can move forward and share that light of the world. We can extend and create more love. And at this time of year, we're coming into a new year where we've had the death of 2025, we have the birth of 2026. If we can remember to keep our mind focused on how we can be an extension of love, then we can move forward in a manner that will take us through all of the unsettledness, the craziness, everything that is happening, and find peace in whatever shows up in our way, because we're staying connected to that inner guidance, that love that is inherent in us. And on that note, I will just close with a quick prayer, and we will finish our meeting. So, dear God, we come before you and we thank you for the gift of these moments to be able to be with you, to be present in the present moment with you, to recognize the love that we are within, to loose our minds from the attachments, the beliefs that we have made up, that have made up this world of form outside of ourselves. We allow ourselves to be free through the practice of continuous self-forgiveness. And in that, we do recognize the love that we are and say, I love me and I love you, dear God, which allows us to have our hearts opened, to have that crack of light open up to us. And the more that we continue in this forgiveness practice, we allow that light to shine brighter, to crack open more. We become more familiar, not that we need to protect or guard, but we can open up and allow that light to shine through. With every breath, we bring your spirit in. We release and exhale any tensions that don't serve, so that as we continue in this breathing process of opening up our hearts, everyone, every situation, every experience, every relationship that comes to mind becomes enveloped in the light that you shine through us. And we ask for your guidance, we ask for your direction, we ask for clarity, we ask to be in service of your will, so that we can be an instrument of your peace. And in this, we ask that you hear this prayer through the one child you created us as. And so it is.